once more and welcome to another Total War Warhammer Battle replay. Another 2 versus 2 because that's probably the most common form of multiplayer match you ever get on this game. Not that I'm complaining, I like doing 2v2, so yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So it's a 2v2, I'm playing as a Crooked Moon tribe, and my ally is the Empire, and we're fighting off a mixed force of Bretonnia and Beastmen, and yes, that is basically a completely and totally backwards alliance, but hey, I picked my faction, and now I want picking everyone else's faction for them. So let's put this one in slow motion and go through the build, and you can already see I have an Arachnarok. This was the first time I actually ever used an Arachnarok. And by the way, that unit over there, nasty skulkers, because, well, yep. But what I had brought is my usual Crooked Moon build, which is mainly made up of a front line of Night Goblin archers, backed up by the rusty arrows, very useful for basically weakening big armoured targets. Then behind them, Night Goblin Fanatics. I do prefer the Fanatic units because these guys have a very useful special ability, which we'll get into later in this battle. My main units, I had a Goblin Big Boss up top of Spider, good for taking out Lords and other nasty things like Paladins. Skarsnik leading the army naturally as I'm playing the Crooked Moon. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers for taking out armoured targets, and 2 more Squig Hoppers over there. And obviously the big bad Arachnarok. Big unit for just doing big damage. My Empire allies, they'd brought spears and swords on the flank, same as over there. And they'd also brought Karl Franz atop a flying thingamabob, as well as a Jade Wizard who does the Law of Life, I believe. He's upon his lovely hippogriff, by the way, the really famous one, Deathclaw, I believe his name is. At his back he has a reserve unit of swordsmen, and on his front he has cannons, riflemen, and great swords, as well as some halberds for taking out hard to hit units. Also a unit of crossbowmen and a Hellstorm rocket battery thing. Now let's have a look at our enemy. So the main enemy who I engaged in this one is Bretonnia. As you can see, their front line is peasant bowmen with pox arrows. Not that really poison is really a big thing for goblins to worry about. The Beastmen had brought some Ungor spears as well, just to give them an extra hand. But he's also brought battle pilgrims who are frenzied when their morale is high, so they need to have their morale taken out quickly. Foot squires for dealing with armor piercing units, but then again, armor piercing is something I kind of don't really have in my army, but at the same time, armored units is something I don't have either. So things like foot squires, their armor piercing play is not going to be useful. Battle pilgrims are, they're going to cause me problems in this battle. Also, he's brought 2 units of Knights of the Realm, you know, pretty average, good cavalry, better cavalry than usual cavalry, better than whatever I could bring, of which I have brought very little apart from my Squig Hoppers. 2 units of Questing Knight, they're probably going to be good for cleaving through my Night Goblins. And last but not least, a unit of Pegasus Knights, royal ones at that. Very nasty customers to deal with. Meanwhile, the Beastmen, their army, they've got Gore Herds, Ungor Spears, actually quite a lot of Minotaurs, all with great weapons. Basically, very, very capable of cleaving through whatever the Empire will have to offer. Malagor is leading the army as well, alongside even more Gore Herds. Quite a lot of Ungor Spears with shields, as well as he brought the Drakenwald ones as well, Destroyers of the Drakvald. Very, very tough units. And even more Gore Herds. So he's brought shielded spears, so that means the he didn't have the silver bullets, but the riflemen, they're not going to have an easy time. But at the same time, the artillery is still probably going to punch through a lot of what the enemy's bringing. Well, yeah. So anyway, let's just put this one onto play now and just get this one underway. So already the enemy is being hit hard by artillery. I'm bringing my Night Goblin Fanatics forward quite quickly. Archers are getting left behind. I was just bringing myself in quickly before the enemy cavalry decided to go in for the big old charge. Nasty skulkers at the minute, they're quite far away. I was expecting the enemy to maybe vanguard deploy some yeomans or something, which is why I'd kept them there, reliving the trauma of the last defeat I'd had basically. But they're just in there waiting for something to do at the minute, and for now they're just going to sit around. But I've got my Night Goblin Fanatics ready to deal with things. They've already been revealed though, because yep, these guys do stalk, they are hidden. And I'm being hit by arrows already, but I was okay with that. I knew my guys were alright. And also, there we go, I was starting to pop off my fanatical abilities, which is the whirling loonies, basically. Night Goblins armed with big mace balls, and they will just basically go in, swirl them around, and basically knock out anything that's in their path. But Bretonnia is just coming crashing into my line. Didn't want to waste any time on me, basically. He was throwing everything in. So I just have my Fanatics just shoot whatever they can. Regular Fanatics just hold the line. I was popping off the Whirling Looney ability at every opportunity I have. Bringing in my Arachnarok as well. Just having it to go deal with the main mob of the enemy. As you can see, I popped off a few more of my spinning guys to try and deal with the Knights of the Realm. Morale is already going down, and as you can tell, it looks like I'm already defeated here, but hang on, there is more to this one. Goblin, Big Boss, and Skarsnik have yet to get involved, but they're already moving him in. He's already having a little war. Arachnarok, it's gone in, it's dealing with the Knights of the Realm. While these guys are confident, the Arachnarok is huge. Its morale may already be dropping down a little bit, but this guy is huge. It tanks loads of health, deals nasty damage. It's going to take a lot of killing, and right now it needs a lot more killing. Meanwhile, Skarsnik had popped his wag just to try and give my units an extra boost, trying to bring them back into the battlefield. Goblin Big Boss as well. He was just having a little pop at it. Pegasus Knights were brought in to deal with my guys. Some of my guys, what's more, trying to leave. My Fanatics were just not having it. Meanwhile, the Beastmen, they'd made contact with the Empire. Beastmen were running riot all over the Empire. Great Weapon Minotaurs, just absolute chaos over there. So already it was shaping up to be a big defeat for us. But Ungol Spears had jumped in. My guys were winning quite comfortably this time around, though some of my guys were routing because of Battle Pilgrims. Their morale was still high, which meant they were doing extra damage because of their fanatical abilities. But since I hadn't brought in my Squig Hoppers yet, I thought, right, this is a good opportunity to bring them in. So Squig Hoppers have come in. They're dealing with the Foot Squires. Foot Squires are not going to win against Squig Hoppers since Squigs do anti-armor damage. So that's good for them. Skarsnik as well. He's popping more abilities. Or at least someone was hexing. I can't remember who was hexing and who was doing what. I don't have access to the Law of a Little Wire in this one as well. I didn't bring a Shaman or anything, so I couldn't really do anything there. Big Boss himself, he's just moving in as well. Trying to just bring some extra help to the Arachnarok, who was just absolutely tanking it. Like I said, the Arachnarok just brings a lot of health. But its morale was getting low. Its stamina was already at the bottom. But my nasty Skulkers, which hadn't had a chance to do anything, they were just moving in. These guys deal big damage as well, since they're very, very sneaky infantry. And also the enemy hadn't noticed them coming in, because, well, that's what they do. They're nasty little sneaky units, these guys. So they just moved in to deal with some of their little bits of anti-armor damage. Got the Knights of the Realm bogged down before they could try and make an escape, and it just bought my Arachnarok a little bit of breathing room to start finishing these guys off. And already, as you can see, control of battle was beginning to sway back to me. Meanwhile, the Empire was still having problems. A Cygor had rocked up because, well, Malagor can go around summoning those things whenever he wants. So, yeah, that was an issue for him. But Karl Franz was just standing defiant, doing what he could. Malagor had gotten involved in the battle, which is something he shouldn't really do. So he was pretty much out for the count. So the Beastmen basically, they'd thrown everything in and had paid the price for it. And also the same was happening for Bretonnia. They'd thrown everything in and may as well just get some cinematics now because, well, the way it went was, well, a very Pyrrhic way for me to go in this one. Bretonnia's ability to just throw everything in it had actually gone wrong. Night Goblins, which I'd left out here, I mean, these Squig Hoppers, while I hadn't brought them in instantly, it just meant I could bring them in a little later at a time when the enemy was a little more disorganized and they were causing chaos. These ones over here just chewing through the Battle Pilgrims like there was no tomorrow. Just going in. Once more, he's trying, you know, he's got his mouth lovely wide up and trying to get the kill. Obviously, the Night Goblin Riders themselves want to do it. Pegasus Knights as well, they'd gone into a full retreat. Arachnarok had just held them off. I think what the enemy could have done better in this one was probably try and take out the Arachnarok first, or at least spray it with peasant arrows, but instead they'd let the Arachnarok live for too long and basically had got into a point where it was basically taking on the Lord. Not exactly the best target for it to go in, really that was something for the big boss to have a go at, who was currently somewhere, not really sure where the big boss was. Well, actually, Nasty Skulkers, they were beginning to lose morale as well. Obviously, they're not going to last forever against Knights of the Realm, but their arrival was still nicely done. The enemy probably should have noticed, well, actually, the enemy wasn't going to notice when these guys are hidden, so their Vanguard deployment had paid off a nice little dividend for me since I managed to bring them in to help me out against the very quick Bretonnian charge. And since Bretonnia hadn't noticed when I was bringing in my Nasty Skulkers, they managed to come in and do a lot of damage to the enemy cavalry and basically save the bacon of my Arachnarok, which was now just going to use the Lord as its new chew toy. Some of my Night Goblin archers also come back in. They were starting to snipe the back of the questing knights who weren't facing them, so that was just a nice little bit of back-breaking bonus for me. Shots weren't going in too accurately, but whatever shots they were getting in, they were pretty much kill shots, so These guys are good snipers. Meanwhile over there, Bretonnia had basically given up on me in some way, so they're bringing in the foot squires to try and have a go at it. But Empire Great Swords just weren't having any of it, and they just went in for the kill, and, well, Bretonnia broke at that point, and it was a Pyrrhic victory. So the lesson of this battle was, a very quick battle of that was, well, while you may think the Crooked Moon was weak, because what I brought was what looked like a weak army, actually, just a load of Night Goblin fanatics. It seemed like I was just being cheesy and spammy. Instead, the enemy got cocky and just charged everything in at once, and they paid the price for it. Gave my nasty Skulkers time to come in for them flank and deal a lot of damage and save my Ragnarok. Big Boss and Skarsnik moved in at a later time where they could just start causing extra bits of damage. Squig Hoppers, I'd kept them back, I hadn't charged them in quickly, and when they did come in, they were dealing big time damage to this thing. Gobbler here, as you can see, he's basically happy that he's got his dinner now. Yep, that was just it. Charge too fast, early to rise, quick to fall, basically. End of the story. So, that was the end of that battle. I hope you've enjoyed. Big Boss as well, yet he'd went in to go and kill the Lord. And, yeah, lesson of the day. Just don't charge in too fast, because basically you're setting yourself up for a defeat, because you won't notice that the Goblins have brought in inevitable nasty Skulkers, and they're just going to charge in from the flank and make your life hell. So, let's just end the replay and have a look at some kill counts, mainly the nasty Skulkers, and as you can see, actually, some of these Night Goblin Squig Hoppers did massive kills against the enemy. Nasty Skulkers, while not getting a lot of kills, their main job was reinforcing your Ragnarok, and as you can see, they also came out very well. Night Goblin Fanatics as well, they got a lot of kills, especially ones that popped off their Whirling Loony abilities. My losses were heavy, however, but at the same time, since the Goblins are so numerous and expendable, heavy losses are what you expect. The Lord himself didn't get a single kill, by the way. Battle Pilgrims were bringing in a respectable amount of kills, but at the same time, they didn't quite you have a full extent of their thing, because Skarsnik was having quite a lot of fun killing them all off. Rusty Arrows as well, they helped out. I had them targeting the cavalry throughout whenever they weren't routing, so their ability to do that as well just gave your Ragnarok a little boost. And that's the thing as well with big units, you can't just let them do everything at once. You gotta give them support, and that's what I did. The Rusty Arrows made sure the Ragnarok kills were a little easier, and also the lovely sneaky Skulkers just came in and helped out. Beastmen as well, while we didn't really interact with them, the Ungor Spears they did throw at us didn't really last very long. I think the issue with these guys is, while as you can see, the Minotaurs were brought in a respectable amount of kills, and the Empire as well. Actually the Empire had a pretty alright performance. They came out quite strong in this one. The issue was, once more, he just thrown everything in, and really, in a way, the enemy had left strategy to the wind, whereas we were on the defensive, and yeah, we were, in a way, yeah, maybe we were rushed and caught with our trousers down, as happened to me a few times in Total War. Rome won, because they'd rushed in so fast and thought about strategy later. That's just how I won this one, basically. But, yeah, that's the end of the battle. So next time, well, it was actually a rematch between most of these people, and it was a very close one. Probably the closest battle I've ever fought, but, well, that's for next time. So, see you on the next one.